Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Zelda Speedruns. Welcome back for our continuing coverage of the Zelda 2 Randomizer tournament. Got our one of our most look forward to matches of this round. Lightning versus RoseCitySaint, both undefeated through qualifier or through the Swifts thus far. Winner of this match will actually be number one seed going into brackets. Joined on the mic tonight by Trails. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing tonight?
Victor Santa Fe will be joining us at some point shortly. But in the meantime, I will leave it to Trails. And here goes. Here's something for a good seed.
Hey guys, how you doing? Trails here. First and foremost, I just want to introduce our runners really fast. They don't hardly need any introduction at all. We have RoseCitySaint looking like on the right-hand side, who is the standard champion, also the Max Rando champion, well-known figure in the Zelda 2 randomizer community. Wins a lot of races, very tough opponent. But on the left-hand side, we have Lightning. Lightning is an accomplished Zelda 2 vanilla runner. He's excellent in combat. He's really got some excellent movement. When you pull up on the leaderboard, okay, Lightning has a 76-minute time, and he's number 10 on the leaderboard in Zelda 2 all keys. So he's pretty amazing. And there they go. They're off to the races. I'm hoping for some really nasty seed business going on here. Light finds a cave, pokes his head in, sees that it's the back end of Fairy Cave. RoseCitySaint does the same right behind him. They do that so when they see the other side of Parappa Cave, they can tell if it's a viable pass-through or not. They both see the Boulder Black Cave, meaning that they're going to need a hammer in order to get that item back there. There's actually two Boulder Black Caves on the western continent we can see, just within eye shot of each other. So these both know that they're going to need a hammer if they want those two items. Which could be required. Lightning finds the Heart Container Cave. You can tell it kind of looks like Parappa Pass-Through Cave, but it's got an enemy right in the front, RoseCitySaint right behind, both in the same cave. Should be interesting how this plays out. And they find a raft right away, which is actually a pretty comfortable item to find. That just means all they have to do is find those two towns, the last 4 items. Or the last 3 items rather, and then they can go ahead and sail east after getting the 2 spells, and probably a little bit of knowledge like where Death Mountain is just in case and what have you. Ooh, and Lightning gets a 1-up drop. That's actually a pretty nice drop to get in this game on these seeds, because I've seen runners game over on their last life and that loses them the race. It's happened to me a couple of times. So now they're going to be looking for a grass tile, which is going to have an item free for the taking. They're going to be looking for either a Magic Container Cave, Trophy Cave, Medicine Cave, or P-Bag Cave. Those are the only 5 caves that are out, or I'm sorry, 4 caves left that they can find possibly on the overworld. 2 out of those 5 are going to be Boulder Black, because we could see right from the start screen area. So a little surprised Lightning didn't dip into that graveyard tile. There's a possibility, because hints are turned on, that he could get a hint from talking to the lady at the King's Tomb. He finds the town of Rudo, says, I'm going to go in and talk to some people, see if I can get some hints. Maybe get a quick light. And RoseCitySaint finds the town of Robber, which is just above, so guaranteed Lightning will go into that town next. So far looking like dead end on the hints. Since Lightning's right here, he's going to go ahead and get that. Go west to find a trophy. So if he doesn't find a trophy, finding all the other caves, he's going to know immediately that it's going to be in one of those Boulder Black caves. So if it's required, he's going to know that he's going to have to come back to get it. And RoseCitySaint gets the shield spell in the town of Rauru, which is vanilla, and we need to send that bug report to Dick Shake immediately, because this randomizer needs to be fixed. And it looks like both towns are dry on the hints. I wonder if any of these fellers are going to go step onto that graveyard tile. I have I have a suspicion that RoseCitySaint will probably step on the graveyard tile. Yeah, he's headed. Oh, and that's the what's up, Buzz Thunder? And it's the graveyard tile with that's the encounter that has the P bag or the red jar drop. It generally has a P bag between the 100 to 200 XP point denomination. And Lightning gets his shield spell as well, and they're on their way out. RoseCitySaint finds the back end of Jump Cave, which is kind of interesting because we haven't seen the front end. That could be a possible pass-through. .50 P bag drops. That's the worst. So right now they're looking for the last town called Saria. I think it's the river town or the harbor town of Saria. RoseCitySaint finds the backside of Parappa Pass-Through Cave, so does Lit. They're basically synced at this point in time. Saria is the last town that has their free spell, and they can probably grab a hint or so from there. And they both know where the town of Mito is, which is just in the southwest corner of the western continent. This is pretty interesting, folks. This is the first palace that they've seen this whole time, and it's just pretty interesting. And it's palace too. But the fact that they've been walking around so much, this is definitely at least a double segmented, possibly triple segmented western continent that we're dealing with at this point in time. And RoseCitySaint finds a trophy cave. Let's see what's in store for him right now. Keep in mind, folks, that both these guys have the raft. So I mean, at any point in time, they can go ahead and sail east, but thank goodness they didn't, because here's the boots, which could possibly be required, and is definitely a great comfort item to have. Right now, both these guys are pretty neck and neck as far as information and exploration. And with the boots, you will see Lightning, Z just walking straight down the seashore right there by the raft tile. It's just interesting to note too, they both haven't seen the grass tile as well. And Lightning Z finds the magic container cave. Wow, I think Lightning's mad dash to the seashore there really paid off. See RoseCitySaint's following up right behind, but he finds the cross in the magical container cave. Not really a good find, but early on, oh, he wants to get that key. Oh, go ahead and just leave it behind, Light. It's not worth. Ooh, and shield is fire, which he used to his advantage to get that key. Wow, that was a real heads-up play by Mr. Lightning Z. And RoseCitySaint's following up right behind to get his trophy, or a magic container cave to get his cross, rather. I wonder if he's gonna have a key drop as well. But he gets the lucky P bag drop, 200 points. He should be able to get his life or his magic level up. And that looks like it could be the town of Saria, and it surely is, but it's the backside. Lightning Z finds the drop of the fairy cave, doesn't want that, and wants nothing to do with it. And he finds the second palace. This is definitely Palace 5, because we've seen Palace 2 already, so. And I think there might be one more cave outstanding, as well as a grass tile, and and another palace. There's still a palace outstanding, grass tile, and a free spell town. So hold on to your seats. Oh, we got eyes on the grass tile on the Lightning Z side, and 100 points for the red dyers. That's not the greatest, but it's not bad either. We also see the last grave tile, and there's the trophy. With the last grave tile, we'll definitely have a shot at getting a hit. And at this point in time, it's looking pretty good that there might possibly be one there, because we haven't seen any hints yet, and we've dipped in every single town besides Mito, and Mito only has the possibility of one hint. So RCS about to come up right behind, about to get his trophy, and I don't know why Light was talking to that. Oh, okay, he wanted to get his Light. That was a very heads-up play by Light. See right there, talking to the town folk because he knows that they're going to turn into an ache, in which he can kill and get experience off of to gain his next magic level. That's high-level play right there. RoseCitySaint finds Death Mountain, and this could be a serious play here. If you Lightning Z finds the spell, decides to up an A, go back. I don't blame him. He's gonna probably go into the town of Rudo, turn in that trophy, and get that free spell, or for that spell item rather. And I think he left behind a palace, if I'm not mistaken. I only remember seeing 2 and 5, unless my eyes deceive me. But yeah, if RoseCitySaint dips into Death Mountain, gets an early magical key or a glove, this could be a total game changer. Yeah, neither have I, Cubs. Neither have I. Oh, and he gets the Thunder spell for bringing in the trophy, which is required, but it's not really too much of an advantage against Mr. RoseCitySaint. At this point in time, RoseCitySaint it has the trophy, so it's just I feel like that Lightning Z it's kind of difficult to say who has an advantage at this point. He's kind of just on blitz mode at this point. It seems like he's just kind of scouring the area, grabbing what he can, and going east, which I don't blame him. That's definitely the play here. And RoseCitySaint's taking the Death Mountain dive, which could pay off immensely depending on what he ends up finding over there. If he ends up finding something serious, it could be, you know, a game changer. Lightning Z finds the boot-blocked P-Bag Cave, which in this version harbors an item. Oh, and that's right. I don't think Lightning Z went to the grave tile for that possible hint. I think RCS is headed that way right now, and we'll find out whether or not it's a thing. Oh, I mean, that's the worst hint you could possibly get, especially after you have the raft. But at this point in time, these fellers don't have anything to be able to traverse palaces with, so they're just, I guess they can go east. They've got access to the whole eastern continent, besides any flute blocks they might be blocking them from progress or whatever. But Lightning Z has got a pretty substantial early lead, I should say, at this point in time. I mean, 12 minutes in, and you know, he's on the eastern continent, going full in, and he's got the Thunder spell. So, I don't know. It's really interesting to see because RCS has got tons of experience. He's been playing this game for years now. It'd be interesting to see how this thing plays out because Lightning Z, he's got years and years and years of vanilla Zelda 2 experience. You could tell by his combat, but against a veteran runner like RoseCitySaint, in the randomizer, it's interesting to see how this one plays out. I believe both these fellers are both 4-0, so one of them is gonna end up 5-0, and the other one's gonna be heading down to the 4-1 brackets. And Lightning Z is in there and killing one of these things for 30 XP points, and RoseCitySaint's back in the Death Mountain. And Lightning Z gets the jump spell, which is, it's a tempting thing to go back to the western continent and possibly get, RoseCitySaint, or possibly go get that downside. But as I'm saying all this, RoseCitySaint finds Death Mountain. If this turns out to be like a pea bag or like a, you know, a heart container or something, that's like, I don't know, I want to say like maybe like 5 minutes just down the shitter. That, you know, if you watch Lightning, his Lightning is his combat is kind of, I don't know, he's one of those guys that sits down for, you know, hours and hours and hours at a time playing this game. But the vanilla game, which is a completely different style of game, same enemies and stuff, but you know, you get used to the combat and stuff. He's just got a lot of experience when it comes to the vanilla game, and it shows in his combat. We see this back side of the Bonner Pass Cave on Lightning Z side, and we see the okay, so heart container on the water tile and heart container on in Hammer Cave. That is a big kappa and a big. I'm sure RoseCitySaint really wanted anything other than that. I mean, it looks like he's probably going to go out here grind the extra 40 points it's going to take him to get that next life, but he's got to be feeling pretty bad right now. Oh, and I forgot about that. Keys have been dropping left and right, so these two fellers are gonna have a few keys backed up for when they find a palace, maybe Palace 1's on Valley of Death or Maze Island. We see that the 3-eyed rock is in play, so we got a glimpse of Maze Island right there for a blip of a second on Lightning's side, and with the boots, Maze Island is generally a great place to go. Lightning looking really good right now on the eastern continent with just levels are really nice, and he finds two of these guys. I hear you, Lightning. I hear you. I love killing these guys, and they could be worth 500 XP points. Yeah, I was gonna say Hammer Cave was a heart buzz, which is really unfortunate, and not 100 points for those lizards is pretty unfortunate too, but. Yeah, spending that much time in Death Mountain, and then Great Palace is the final palace on the Western continent. So, Light taking that run over to the Eastern continent's got a pretty substantial lead. I'm getting a lot of RoseCitySaint stream buffering on my end, so, but Lightning Z is in Maze Island, tearing stuff up. Gonna probably see what palace this is over here. Do it if it's makes sense to do it. We get a look. It's Palace 4, which is unfortunate because he does not have the reflect spell. So there is no way that he can do that at this point in time. There is no way that he could find a reflect spell on the maze, but the maze still harbors 2 items, which is really important. The maze could have the hammer and the glove, which could be required. It could also have the flute, which we know at this point in time is required. It could also have some spell items. So there's with all these items in play and only seeing one P-bag cave and a water tile, the Maze Island is generally the play early on because you want to try to hit high density area. You get as much XP as possible, or XP, but also items, high item density areas. These guys are jerks. I don't really like them so much because they usually take a lot to kill, and they're only worth 70 a lot of times. But I've had them up to worth 200 experience points. If you're wondering which enemy I'm talking about the red lizard men called Wazalfo. They swing these clubs around. And Lightning Z seems like he's explored a good bit of this maze. Having found one of the items, it probably shouldn't take him long to find the other. And RoseCitySaint gets his jump spell, which is, I can see it being a little... Yeah, he's going to up an A, go get that down stab. I don't blame him. Down stab makes it really really easy to get around enemies and things like that. But Lightning Z is he's really good at doing the neutral jump, which means you jump over one of these enemies without them touching you, like he just did right there. So I'm curious to see what this other item is. First item on Maze Island was a heart container, which is kind of, you know, not something you want to see. And looks like we're looking for the second item here. And if I had the magical key, I might even jump into Palace 4 just to see what it is. The lightning, I think that's the only way you can go at this point. Unless I'm mistaken. I think you searched down here. Yeah, he's going to have to go up. Unfortunately, there's an encounter that's blocking that upward area that he's walking to right now. Ooh, Death Mountain's got the medicine. That's news for RoseCitySaint to have, but him knowing that it could possibly be hammer required is probably weighing on his conscience. Wow, and the item's not up there. Where in the heck is this item hiding? It's playing a pretty good, decent game of hiding. Well, whose restream was frozen? With triple factor. RCS got the downward thrust technique. And he got the hint for the medicine being in Death Mountain, which is really bad news for him because he was just in Death Mountain, probably spent about a good 5 or 10 minutes or so in there. I'd say probably about 5 minutes. And hold on a second. Wow, White finds the item, and it's the hammer, which is a great item to find, but I feel like I might be a little behind right now. I'm not sure. He up and A's. Yeah, and I'm sure he's hightailing it over to these two really quick, easy item locations. He knows the fluid's required. He's running out of options on the Eastern continent. I don't even know if RoseCitySaint's seen a three-eyed rock yet. But I'm certain that Lightning Z is going to come over here, grab these two items. Ooh, if the tracker is right, it looks like he's got the glove. I might need to refresh really fast. If he got the glove out of, yeah, and yes, he did. Let me do a quick refresh. That's quite a big. Alright, so it looks like I'm back with it. Hopefully I'm right in sync with you guys. Yep. Are you sure? Are you sure about that, Buzz? That's a bold statement you're saying. So you're saying that one of these runners have already gotten, or you're just making a okay. I was like, I had to refresh for a second. I'm like, man, did I miss that much when I from just doing that? But yeah, RoseCitySaint's about to get his hammer in very short order. He's gonna have a much quicker time in this Maze Island because White forgot to go up and check the initial area where he was at. But I don't know. It'd be interesting to see which one of these runners tries to go into Death Mountain. Lightning Z sees the P bag and up and A's and says, "How dare you present me with such a sacrifice?" I think he's gonna head over to. Yeah, he was saying to the Zelda gods, he's like, "How dare you present me a 50-point P bag or whatever." I've done that before with Palace 2 having there being a spell item, and I'm thinking I'm in go mode. But it ended up biting me in the butt at the end of the race. But anyway, that's old. That's last week's news. Lightning Z's gonna jump into Mito, get his down stab technique, and probably get the spell hint. and know exactly what's going on here. I don't think that there was a hint in this town, but he's going ahead and just walking past that. I feel like he feels like at this point that he's in pretty good shape, and I don't blame him. 23 minute and just about in go mode. I mean, if I have the glove, the boots, the hammer, and the raft, 23 minutes in, and the Western Continent 100% full cleared, and the Eastern Continent just about cleared, I'm feeling pretty good. So I don't know. RoseCitySaint not too far behind. It depends on what he does. If I have a guess, I think RoseCitySaint just came from the West. So I think RoseCitySaint's probably going to stay away from the West for a little bit, maybe do what he can over on the Eastern Continent. Oh, never mind. Everything I just said, forget all of it, because he just went back over. He probably figures, he probably saw that three-eyed rock and said, food's required. So he's probably going to do that. He might even dip into Death Mountain. If he had seen the boulder. I hadn't seen the boulder yet, but RoseCitySaint will here soon have his glove in short order, and we're talking about, I don't know, maybe like a 90-second differential between these two. I mean, RoseCitySaint is on the west cleaning up what Lightning has already done, but Lightning's on the Eastern Continent pressing forward, so it's I wonder if this lead's gonna extend or if it's gonna change places. Yeah, that pass-through cave did nothing but looping back. He finds a quick pass-through cave. I believe this is the Darunia pass-through cave. This is in Vanilla Zelda 2 when you sail east and you take that cave just above the town of Nabooru. It links you to the area where Darunia is. It's called the Darunia pass-through. Anyway, that was that cave, and Lightning finds the desert tile. Happens to be a red jar. Says no, thank you. I don't blame him. Finds the town of Nabooru. Decides to go in there and get that spell. This town you've got to use your hat to scoop up some water for the thirsty broad that's on house arrest. She can't leave her front steps and walk a couple feet to go get some water, or else the feds are gonna come kicking the door, waving the 4-4. So Lightning Z's gonna go scoop up a little bit of water, give her a sip. She's gonna let him come inside, and he's gonna get a free spell. And there it is. There's the fairy spell. And in this point in time, Lightning's in very good shape. The only thing is if the reflect spell happened to be behind the medicine, but he's got that information, and he's got quite a lead at this point in time. Can't really see what's going on RoseCitySaint side because the commentary stream is buffering. But okay, he's found he's inside the cave, the P-bag cave, and he's gonna get the what is it back here? A magical container, I think, something like that. Yep, magical container. So, picking up that cross, I bet these two guys are pretty happy at this point. There's flying eyeball enemies everywhere. We see a couple palaces right here, and we know Palace 1 is kind of MIA along with Palace 3 and 6. We know where Palace 4 is. And Lightning Z is only missing the Risen P-bag cave, and at that point in time, he's he's missing the town of New Kasuto as well, which could possibly be hidden underneath of a forest tile. In this flag set, we've got the flag set to random, so there's a forest tile, just like in Vanilla, in which you can whack it with the hammer, and there's a town underneath, and that's how you reach the town. When you reach this town, when you try to step on the forest tile, it'll be out in the open, but when you step on it, you'll walk over it and you won't go into a counter. So there's ways, indications on how you can tell what is the Nuka Pseudo Town and what is not. Light takes an unfortunate death, and RoseCitySaint finds the palace of either 2 or 3. Says no thank you, I don't blame him. He doesn't have any keys, he doesn't have a fairy spell, has no way to traverse that palace. But I guarantee you he will probably be coming back very shortly, as Lightning Z finds the town of Darunia, which is possibly required. I think he's going to go in here, take a quick peek around. I don't blame him. There's still a flute outstanding. And right now, Death Mountain is probably weighing on Lightning's mind right now. He knows that there's a medicine, the medicine there, which is required, or not required, but which is tied to a spell of some sort. It hits the super jump first try. That's top tier stuff right there. But he's gonna get his upward thrust technique, and he's probably gonna go see what's going on with this kidnapped child, see if he can get a hint, see where it's at, and then go on from there. I'm thinking Nuka Pseudo is probably loaded at this point, but I don't know, that's just speculation. And RoseCitySaint jumps immediately into this Palace 3 or 6, whatever it is. And I don't blame him. It's 30 minutes in and I haven't placed a gem, and it's Palace 3. You can tell it's Palace 3 because there's an enemy on the right hand side, but not one on the left. In Palace 6, if you enter the palace in this room, there will be an enemy on both sides. It looks like Lightning Z is possibly narrowed down and closing in on Nuka Pseudo. Oh, nope, it kind of resembled it a little bit. But I'm sure he will find it in short order because it's the only thing missing, I believe. We found all the other towns, so it should be down here somewhere. RoseCitySaint, going in here, grab the okay. Alright, now we're in the Joshi D of BGT rooms, and Lightning Z goes into the town of Nuka Pseudo. Oof, she wants 7 magical containers to be able to get her item. I don't know. He's got the spell, and he can get a free spell out of here, so something's gonna give right here. Something's gotta give. I mean, right now they have technically everything but Reflect to be able to beat this seed. I'm guessing RoseCitySaint found another heart container, or no, that's the heart container from Death Mountain. When I refresh, he must have hit a dead end, and Light found the no, flute is definitely needed. We've seen a 3-eyed rock, and whatchamacallit, this has been kind of a very slow progression seed. I know RoseCitySaint's got to be kind of thinking like, hey, what the heck? I know he's a fast finisher. You know, once he gets the items he needs, he just, you know, presses up on the gas. Nah, nobody's got any gems yet, and there's the required flute. I'm sure RoseCitySaint will find it shortly. I didn't get the hint that was in Darunia. Ooh, White Z decides to up an A. I think he's gonna take that. Don't know if he's gonna sail east or if he's gonna jump into Death Mountain, but maybe he's deciding to just do Palace 2 real quick because it's right here. Besides the required spell item, and maybe that was the hint, right? Maybe the hint was Palace 2 has got the child, and with this he's heading straight into P2. Yeah. This seed kind of held out, Carissa. It held out, and then all of a sudden, once they got the once they got the hammer, everything. I mean, they started out getting the boots and the raft, but ooh, Karak disappears with the child. Man, you know that's going to be tied to reflect. I mean, I know RoseCitySaint's going to know. If he goes in there for that spell hint, he is already going to know, because that's what happens, and that's what this randomizer likes to do a lot of the time. It's really unfortunate, but you know, it's kind of it's the randomizer, man. I mean, that's how it rolls sometimes. Yeah, exactly. Blame Fred. So knowing where, I mean, Lightning Z has all the information, has all the items, doesn't need anything. So right now he's kind of just in boss and go mode, and I don't blame him. He's in great shape. And same with RoseCitySaint, I believe. I feel like that the only thing out there anymore is heart containers, magical containers, and maybe the magical key, but you know, or P bags. So there's not really, unless you get a direct hint about something. But right now it's boss and go for these two guys. It looks like RoseCitySaint's gonna be the first one to place the gem, so it all really depends on what happens right here at this point in time. I'm not sure if Lightning saw the Great Palace, but they're going to be placing the gem around the same time. But right now it's about the point to where who's going to do the palaces the quickest, and it looks like RoseCitySaint is on. You know, as far as routing goes, it doesn't get much better than this. I mean, he's kind of seeing a palace do it, and he's gonna, okay, I know where GP is, I'll just go ahead and do whatever this is over here. And this could be, you know, I don't know, something else. But the thing is, though, it depends on what White does with this information. I'm not sure if Mr. RoseCitySaint got that hint from Darunia. I could be wrong, but he hasn't yet found New Kasuto Town. But you know, if he gets that hint for having the spell item, he might just go in there just to get it. And that RoseCitySaint's entering Palace 6, which is a palace you don't want to do without the any key or without a really cheap fairy spell. Magic 4, I'm guessing he can probably catch fairy twice. He did score a lot of keys in Palace 3, so that's a plus for him. But Palace 6 generally has like almost no keys, and Lightning Z just turns his nose up at that key drop, which you know, could come to bite him in the butt later on, because having to take a death abuse because you don't have any keys is a really painful thing to do, especially if you have like life 6 and you know, 10 magic containers you have to and you have to die from a death abuse from like a Mew or something like that, or a bot. Here's a Canadian drop hole. Let's see if RoseCitySaint is Canadian today. Ooh, nails it first try. So yeah, I mean, it really depends on like what these guys do and how fast that they do it. Yeah, I'm just messing around, Countess. But I mean, at this point, these guys are kind of an equal footing. Yeah, I know, right? These guys are kind of an equal footing, but the thing is, it's Lightning had a very big advantage at the beginning, and I think he may have lost that advantage by upping and A-ing and starting on the west. But I'm not sure. RoseCitySaint placed the gem first for Palace 3, but oh, that's gotta sting. That's sheesh. RoseCitySaint had to up an A because there was a fairy drop hole room, and what I don't understand is why didn't he just drop to the bottom? Because I've fallen through that hole before without fairy, and I've found the boss barbell on the other side. So that could be a dead end. I mean, just because yeah, making a smart move by taking that magic up. But yeah, I might want to, if I'm still here, Oh, Lightning Z finds the item room in 5, which is like, doesn't never happen, but he's gonna grab it, and I don't blame him. If it's the magical key or something like that, I would take the death abuse, dude. I would just die. If that turns out to be the magical key or something, that's like, that could help him from never having to do this ever again, and he can continue to level however he pleases, and finish the game with basically whatever he has right now, including well, once he gets a reflect spell. And it's a magic container, which isn't bad. You know, it means he can probably cast Fairy one more time. And RoseCitySaint finds the item room in Palace 6. He's going to go ahead and take it. This could be the magical key as well. Yeah, exactly, Carissa. They're relying on that to be able to cast Fairy with. And he takes down the item, the boss video item. I don't think he has the hint for whatchamacallit, and he gets the magical key, which is kind of an advantage for him at this point. I don't know, with 6 magic containers, I think Light can cast Fairy 3 times, so as long as that's a dead end for Mr. Light. But the thing is, Light's got a little bit more information at this time, I think. When RoseCitySaint finds Nukasuto, which will be in short order after he leaves here, he's gonna know that it's just those two. That first of all, that it was a dud. He'll get the flute out of there, but it's a dud, and that he's gonna have to get either the kid or he's gonna have to get the medicine. This Palace 5 and Palace 6 looks like it's being kind of a jerk. I feel like Light is probably on the right direction. Same with RoseCitySaint, because they've explored so much of this palace. It's kind of would be difficult for them to not really know where they're going at this point. Thank you, Buzz. Thank you. Alright, Lightning Z finds a room that's got the false wall in it. It's a rightward exit, so let's see if it... You know, at this point in time, I feel like it's probably got a good possibility of putting him either towards the boss or at the boss, and it doesn't. This takes him to another elevator. Palace 5 is 27 rooms, and it doesn't sound like much, but when you're in there for 15 minutes trying to find Boss Guma, then, you know, that's 27 big rooms, so... It's about the size of a small great palace. And Light finds Guma. Let's see. Let's check out this Guma fight that Light has. Looks like he took a death abuse at the end. He kind of just turned around and said, "Let me have it." But Light's very, very, very well versed at this game. Attack 4 Guma, no problem. Yeah, I mean, at attack 4, yeah, he could take a lot of hits. Ooh, man, he's really just whacking away at him, man, putting in a lot of work there. He's got to be careful, though. One more hit and he's done. Yeah, this is Light's very last life, so he's got to be very careful. RoseCitySaint seeming like he's confused. I'm sure at this point he knows where he's at, and he's probably on the right path. This looks like it's new. I don't think he's found that drop Crumble Bridge room, but I have seen the Iron Knuckle drop, 4-way drop room already. Oof, those body checks, man, do about 2 hearts. There he goes. He's taking it easy. He's doing it the slow way, but I mean he's still, man, whacking away at him, man. That was a very impressive Guma fight. As RoseCitySaint enters his Barba fight, and they're gonna be tied up on gems. It'll be interesting to see which ones. Yeah, Light is really he's really sick of this game. I saw him do he did an all keys run, I believe, with Eon. It was either an all keys or it was a glitched run, but it was 2 people, 1 controller, and I think he was controlling the D-pad and she was controlling the A and the B buttons or something. Yeah, he just totally just whacked away at that. I mean, I remember when I first started playing a couple years ago or a year and some change ago, like Guma was like a struggle. It, like, made me almost want to quit playing the game because of how hard Guma was. You know, I get in a fight with Guma and it's like I get hit once and I'm dead. You know, but keep in mind, folks, that RoseCitySaint has the advantage of knowing the Great Palaces on the east or on the western continent, and Lightning Z has the advantage of already finding New Kasuto, knowing that either the medicine or the child is required. It looks like he might be dipping towards yeah, RCS has got a very impressive Barba fight. Unfortunately, in the middle of it, his stream kind of buffering or whatever, but okay, here it is. He's in a Valley of Death encounter. Looking like he's still gonna get his way out of there. Probably do some fairy feet action. But with Light, with the information, he's got the flute, so he's gonna be able to go in there and just clean everything up. I wonder if he's gonna jump into P4 and just try to grab the item. You know, in a situation like this, I might just do that. You know, you can find the item sometimes really quickly in Palace 4. Just going in a couple of rooms. Yeah, Light did find GP, so. As far as an exploration advantage, I feel like that Light might have one because he's already found a new Kasuto town. And RoseCitySaint went through Valley of Death and did Palace 3, and Palace 3 seemed a bit trolly because you had to go left to get anywhere, but I don't know about that, Sleepy. He may or he may not. Palace 3 is covered with keys. I think you get probably about 4 or 5 keys very easily. And Light's going to clean that up. Plus, Light has 6 magical containers, and he might stumble upon a magical key himself. So, I don't think there's really anything holding Light back. I think right now he's just kind of looking for the 3-eyed rock. And RoseCitySaint finding another cave, saying no, thank you. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's what I mean. When you there's tons of rooms. Okay, so Light's about to blow the horn. Palace 1 is underneath 3-eyed rock. Let's see if he goes for the boss or he goes for the full clear. Because we know, folks, by process of elimination that this had to be Palace 1. And he's going right. So it looks like that he's heading towards boss and go, which I don't blame him at this point in time. There's literally nothing else that he needs in this game. Grabbing the Fairy of Shame. I'm disappointed in you, Light. I'm disappointed in you. And he finds the boss pretty quickly. So, ooh, he's getting some double stabs in there. You know, I'm really trying to learn that strat. I'd probably double dip 4 because Darunia Town is right by Maze Island, and it could be a quick, you know, rather than a whole ordeal with running through Death Mountain. But you know, it's a flip a coin type of situation, 50-50. I'm not even sure if RoseCitySaint got the information about the spell item being in 4, but you know, just like I do, Buzz, when a spell item is in 4, it's always reflect. You're absolutely right, unless it isn't, but he's going to go ahead and give it a whack. He's got to go over by Palace 3 anyway to do those palaces. Yeah, he can get off 3 fairy casts. So he's gonna. You could tell his vanilla experience. He was actually about to do that lava room, which I think is kind of funny. Trying to go do that lava room, which has a key at the end of it. RoseCitySaint's going to get the unfortunate news that this doesn't have what he wants. Actually, this does have the flute, as a matter of fact, so he'll be able to do that. Right now, Lightning Z has a 1 gem up, and he's got. I'm not sure. Can someone in chat tell me if Light Z had or RoseCitySaint got the hint from Darunia Town telling him where the child was located? I think he might have, but I'm not sure. Alright, so Light Z is presented with this 3-drop scenario. RoseCitySaint's going to level up his magic. He's got 5 magical containers, so he can't talk to the lady, but she's, by process of elimination, she either has a heart container. Well, I know Light Z definitely got the hint, so, I mean, that's why he's in 4 right now without Reflect, so. I didn't get a chance to see RoseCitySaint get it, so. What do you mean by columns? Yeah, Victor, if you want, come on in, man. Come on in, Victor Santa Fe. You're not stupid. You're cool. Get on in. Oh, it's no big deal, man. I gotta get ready to go to work in a couple hours, so it is literally my pleasure to do so. I would hope you or any of these other guys would do it for me. Light Z finds the child. Gonna hurry up and A. Hurry up and run back to the town of Dream. And I do not blame him. And it looks like RoseCitySaint is actually going for the hint right now. So evidently, chat had no idea what they were talking about. And he gets the hint, and now RoseCitySaint's got to make a choice. He gets the hint for the glove, but that's yesterday's news. And yeah, so I think as far as routing goes, I think yeah, there's nothing really RoseCitySaint needs to do at this point in time. Looks like Light's just gonna go ahead and knock these 2 palaces out, and then go turn into Child. Which, if I were him, I would turn into Child. And then I would go through Valley of Death, because that would be a great place to up an A from if need be. So yeah, this is like Buzz Thunder says in chat, this is a big moment right here. RoseCitySaint's got to make a choice. Either Death Mountain or dig Palace 4. And it looks like he's heading to Palace 1. He's going to go the 3-eyed rock and blow the horn and just get that out of the way. And I don't blame him. At the 52-minute mark with only 2 gems placed, it's especially being RoseCitySaint, I mean, me, RoseCitySaint, any of these guys, if it's 52 minutes in and you've only got 2 gems placed, it's not a great feeling. And Lightning sees the long ass dead end and just decides to up an A. I don't blame him there. Save him about 3 or 4 rooms backtracking, including the Joshi D room. So waiting on Victor Santa Fe to show up. Oh yeah, take your time, brother. It's all good. I'm not in any rush or anything. do a quick refresh, and it looks like RoseCitySaint found the dead end of Palace 1. I think if you go down this elevator and to the right, ooh. This is, I feel like that maybe Lightning took the right path the first time. And you can see right there, he sees the item room and just says no thank you. He's got everything he needs. Yeah, Lightning went downstairs into the right before instead of going upstairs, so he got lucky with his routing there. Found Horsehead almost immediately, so that's gonna play in his favor a little bit. And he knows from process of elimination, finding the item, finding the dead end, that this, and without doubt, is going to bring him to the boss of this palace, Rebenak, which is like a weird blue iron knuckle guy that rides on a weird blue horsey that floats around. Yeah, I just realized he's only got attack 4. He makes short work. I think he just got a flawless victory on him. I don't think he got hit one time. But to attack 4 going in like that. And it looks like RoseCitySaint is making the child in Darunia of Link to Reflect gamble. Which, you know, if you've played this game enough times, you know that's this randomizer is mean, you know? And White Z is about to go turn in the kid, and you know, big drum roll of suspense here. You know, this could be this could be a game changer. Well, I don't know about game changer, but this is going to be some information. And Lightning must have forgotten where Darunia is. I think it's just south of where he is. So. He's got 1,699 XP points. RoseCitySaint is about to hit a dead end, and then he's going to go down one level and then find the item, I believe. Yeah, Lightning's going to save up for his attack, and I don't blame him at this point in time. Only having attack 4 with 4 gems placed. I mean, without a doubt, when he plays the last 2 gems, one of them is going to be attack 5. But I mean, he looks like he's having a little difficulty finding the town of Darunia. You know, I'm pretty sure it is on this bottom section here. Maybe I think it's along the eastern seashore. Well, it's ahead by a Palace 5, which is kind of a big deal. That Palace 5 was trolly. I think Light did just about 75% of it. See Light taking the death abuse. Does the fairy feat really quickly. Gonna snag a magic jar. He's entering Palace 6 at this point in time. Let's see how quickly he's able to figure this puzzle out. Well, I guess it just depends on which path that you take. I believe RoseCitySaint is about to head straight to Darunia to find out whether or not it's Reflect. Looks like he's heading right in that direction. I think it's just south. Yeah, it's just south along the eastern seashore. Light could take the right way. I know you had to fall to the bottom where that crumble bridge drop was, so maybe you drop here and then drop all the way down. I don't know, but you're absolutely right. It is long. And we need a drum roll of the biggest of drum rolls. And it's fire, dude. That's such a big kappa. RoseCitySaint. obviously pretty ticked off at this moment, and I don't blame him. I'd be pretty ticked off too. He spent 5 minutes early on in Death Mountain. He's heading that way at this point in time. I think he's going to go ahead and do Palace 2 and Palace 5 really quickly. It might seem like it's a bit tied right about now. It depends. It depends on what Light does. If Light, gives up on the whole Darunia thing, if he's like, you know what, I can't find Darunia, he just realized that this is a loop. Yeah, but the thing about the DM experience is that they're just looking for the rock. It's possible that they just that they find the rock, find the medicine, and get on out of there. That is true. Light will be looking for Hammer Cave once he figures this whole thing out. And you guys are absolutely right. With RoseCitySaint's knowledge and experience with playing this game, this little boo-boo could really pull Lightning, or pull RoseCitySaint ahead rather. RoseCitySaint finds his room. Lightning finds. Hey, what's up, Victor Santa Fe? How you doing?
Yeah, just in time to see the seed get validated by RoseCitySaint. Nice.
It's been a really interesting race so far. Lightning has appeared to have been in the lead this whole time. But I don't know. I mean, he's had a little bit of a struggle finding Palace, or the town of Darunia they're trying to child in, but he is in Palace 6 right now, looking to place that gem. And I think he accidentally fell in the right hole. If this takes him to the Crumble Bridge drop room, he's in good shape. But if it takes him to the other drop room, then he's not in good shape. Yeah, he's not in good shape. He needs to fall in the Canadian drop hole room now that... okay, I think he's knows where he's at, and I think he's going to the Canadian drop hole room. RoseCitySaint placing his gem in Palace 2. Right now they're tied up on gems, and RoseCitySaint's on the western continent with the information that the medicine is linked to reflect.
So we know where the medicine is, right? It's in that mountain,
It's in Spectral
maybe?
Rock.
Okay.
Oh, and Light Z is jumping. Yeah, this is the right way. Light Z's gonna find Barba very quick. And RoseCitySaint, it looks like he's looking for Palace 5, but he can't remember where it is. If I remember correctly, it's not too far from here. He might just go ahead and say, you know what, I'm gonna do Death Mountain, because I know it's right over here. This is a really, really exciting race, because these two guys are so good at this game. And it's just, it's awesome to be able to call a race like this with these two guys. Light Z is coming up on Barba right now, and I feel like that Light has a gem lead, but RoseCitySaint has the yeah, Cubs. But the thing is, though, Light can beat the game with attack 4. Like what he has right now, he's totally good with. I mean, you could tell just by like his just the way he's attacking. Ooh, and as I say that, he takes a dip in the lava. Ah, commentator's curse, man. I need to shut up. This all comes down to how fast RoseCitySaint finds Boss Bar. Oh my goodness, dude, that's so bad.
Oh no! No! Wow. Game over.
Yeah, if RoseCitySaint finds boss Guma faster than White did, it'll help even some of this out. It looks like he's being pushed into the right direction right now. I know White had to go down this elevator, and it didn't really take him too long to find him. He found the item, which was a magic container, which, isn't a bad item to find. White's got to be feeling kind of bad right now. Lightning doesn't necessarily have to go through Hammer Cave. If he goes along the coast and finds the rock with the hammer, he can just find that, and his Death Mountain will be, 1 minute long. It all depends on where the Spectacle Rock is, and to be honest with you, excuse me, to be honest with you, RoseCitySaint's stream was buffering a lot when he was in Death Mountain, so I couldn't, Oh, so RoseCitySaint has already seen the rock. See, I didn't have that information, but yeah, because there was some on the commentator stream side, there was a little bit of buffering going on. So, yeah, I mean, that could really make or break the race. That could make the race for RoseCitySaint. Man, and this 3-tile high jump is really trolling Light right now. Finally gets it. And it looks like RoseCitySaint is on the right way to boss Guma. Yeah, but if Spectacle Rock happens to be just in an open area, free for the taking, then it's not really too much of an advantage. Light's going to go in there, take a cave, and end up in the area where it's at. If a Spectacle Rock is in one cave location, or like a place where you can only find it going through 1 or 2 caves, then it's anybody's game, whoever takes the right cave first. But if RoseCitySaint knows exactly which cave to take, then Light placing his 5th gem. This is going to be interesting. It's going to be a race. He eats the gem. He says, "You know what? Screw your level. I'm just going to go ahead and beat this game."
Yeah, and after game over to Barb, I don't blame him. And he's facing the champion of the Zelda 2 randomizer tournament. So.
It looks like, I think he had a little bit of amnesia earlier. It looks like that he's heading in the right direction now. The town of Darunia was on the eastern seashore of the eastern continent. Oh, he's headed to Denver. He's got his ticket right now punched, and he's getting ready to board the plane. Once he finds Denver, though, it's going to be Omega Kappa, and he's going to know, dang it, I'm going to have to go to DM now. But he also doesn't have the information that, Hammer Cave is like a pea bag or a heart container or something. So if he finds that rock before Hammer Cave, then he'll be in great shape. If the rock is just along the coast, then it's pretty free. If he finds it, if it's just sitting out in the open on the coast, it looks like it isn't. Looks like RoseCitySaint is on the coast and he's going through some pass-through caves. It could be. I mean, I feel like, yeah, RoseCitySaint's definitely in the lead right now. Being inside, ooh, he's got the rock right there in his sights. Yeah, this is definitely RoseCitySaint's race to lose at this point. He's seconds away from becoming full-blown dig shake, and it's Lightning's got to find that rock pretty quickly. But it's also like, it really depends on the plays that Lightning makes. If he goes through a cave and happens to find Spectacle Rock, this race is not over.
Yeah, and GP, anything can happen in GP. We've seen it.
Right, Countess. But if he runs into the rock, if he happens to run into the rock while looking for DM, I'm pretty sure RoseCitySaint found the rock, just looking for Jeep or Hammer Cave. I keep on getting them mixed up. Yeah, he's gonna poke his head in a few caves here, and then he's gonna have to take one. If he takes one and it just happens to put him in that area, he'll be in good shape. Oh, and he finds Hammer Cave right away, which is it's gonna be rip about 90 seconds because he's gonna have to walk through. It's about 45 seconds each way. So he's gonna walk through. He's gonna find a heart container, and he's gonna probably be a little upset. I don't blame him, but at this point he's doing what RoseCitySaint had did earlier. You know, it looked like Light had a lead. I don't know. Not really sure what swung this thing because he was in the Eastern Continent just nailing away at stuff about 14 minutes in, and RoseCitySaint was running around in Death Mountain, and then he got capped with a heart container. I don't know if Light's gonna up and aim out of just pure anger, or if he's gonna turn around and the game over the Barba really stung. I'm sure he took a couple deaths to Guma as well. RoseCitySaint is like, closing this thing out right now. But it's really interesting to see two racers of two different styles that are both really good going at it, and just what happens. In this case, it seemed like Slow and Steady kind of won the race. Light was going so fast that he forgot where things were, and I'm guilty of that sometimes.
Yeah, I'm slow, and I'm also guilty of that.
So it really depends on how fast. There was about 4 or 5 caves that put you in that location. If Light finds that section pretty quickly. I know it was on the western side of Death Mountain. He's got his eyes on it. He can see it. So that doesn't mean anything in Death Mountain. Any of these caves can take you anywhere. RoseCitySaint's probably going to take the basement gamble. I don't blame him. When I'm looking for the boss, that's exactly what I do.
Yeah, not doing that was one of the reasons he lost the race last night.
Oh, yeah? I mean, apparently I had like a 4-minute lead, but what I did with it was I full cleared Great Palace. Like, had I skipped a drop, I would have... Ooh, Lightning looped back to the beginning of where he came in at. But yeah, I mean, if I would have gotten confused, like RoseCitySaint thought he'd seen all the drops, so when he saw that, he went the right way. Ooh, he finds the rock not that long after RoseCitySaint. I didn't look at the timer, but I want to say probably about like 2 minutes. RoseCitySaint probably has like a 2-3 minute lead.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That must have been a pretty crazy race to call last night. I mean, you had me, RoseCitySaint, Theorwolf.
Yeah, that was very, 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 very exciting to call, especially the last part. The earlier stage of the race was kind of slow, and it was kind of a free seat, but that somehow it felt slow in the things that you did, because most of you did the same things. But yeah, the last part of it was very exciting to see all the comebacks
So I'm gonna look at the timer when RoseCitySaint enters Great Palace, and then I'm gonna look at the timer at when Lightning Z enters Great Palace, and take a little note and see about the minutes. Right now, he's a Palace 4 and some exploit, or not some. He's a Palace 4 and a walk the GP ahead of him, you know. But yeah, dude, if someone would have just took the Death Mountain gamble, if someone would have been like, you know, I'm gonna take Death Mountain, but you know, if Carrick is disappearing with the kid, I'm jumping in Palace 4 because that's happened to me too many times. And I know it's happened to you, Victor, where the required spell item for Reflect happens to be in Palace 4, and
Yeah.
it's always a bummer when you're when Palace 4 has a spell item of some sort. Shoot, I didn't even see the timer of RoseCitySaint, but whatever.
It was 1:14:10.
Okay, 1:14:10. Alright, sorry about that. Doesn't really need a magic, but you could spam a magic jar out of that Bird Knight statue. This GP would probably be pretty quick. These short GPs, they're about the size of Palace 5, but they have potential to be very nasty because of their loot situations. And finds a one-piece spicy chicken room. Finds the top of the L7 drop room. This is starting to look like it's going to be one of those weird pick a drop any drop type of GPs.
Yeah, those happen a lot. So we see the first drop destination, which is the top of the L7.
I can't wait until the brackets. The enemy set is going to be so much more difficult. There's going to be bird knights and spicy chickens everywhere. RoseCitySaint finds the first of the 3 dead-end rooms with the 5 blocks set up like that. Or the 10 blocks rather. They look like on a dice piece, the 5. Finds another paperclip room. It appears like he's yeah, right, the small enemy tour is over. We've had enough of these freaking bots and this candle BS. Give us the real deal. I want to be upset when I dig out an item and it happens to be the candle.
Yes, Matt, there will be waffles and chicken, definitely. This is
it's going to be tons of waffle and chicken. And as we're saying that, RoseCitySaint stumbles into Thunderbird as Lightning Z stumbles into Karak. He takes a death. I'm pretty sure that was intentional, so he could cast his Thunder spell. And Lightning Z, coincidentally at the same time, is taking a death beast, so he can cast his Reflect spell.
So the way to Thunderbird was kind of forced. There's only one elevator that RoseCitySaint could have taken to the left that he didn't. And we've seen one drop destination. So yeah, ahead of Thunderbird, I bet there will be some choices.
Lightning is going to go in a GP with attack 4.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like it was a very linear path with Victor, but it was a very long path. I felt like he went through he went through a couple One Piece chicken rooms. He definitely went through at least one waffle room, and he went through at least 2 paperclip rooms. He drops into the trails room, goes right. Everybody knows, do not go right in the trails room. But it takes him to the Eon drop room, which will probably take him to the top of the L7. You fall in that double-ended drop room. It's always best to go left. So Lightning enters GP around the 118.50 mark, which is was that about 3 or 4.5 minutes?
4.5 minutes. Yeah.
So if RoseCitySaint happens to take a drop somewhere that takes him back to the beginning, or you can tell he's being very cautious about how he takes what he does. So he could take a drop and it take him back to the beginning, and Lightning might take the Eon drop immediately and just find Dark Link. I mean, that's what's crazy about this randomizer. And I don't know, if that happened, RoseCitySaint would probably be a little upset, but it's going to take Light a little while to even get to that point. So I feel like RoseCitySaint's probably going to explore all this. They might converge at that point, and they both make that decision at the same time, which would be kind of wild. But we're going to see an Attack 4 Thunderbird fight, no question, and that's going to be very impressive. Lightning Z is very good at this fight. Oh, I thought he was going to try to ceiling walk for a second.
Oh yeah, he looked like that, but he didn't. And that would have been that would have skipped Thunderbird, so
it might have.
He would have done that. Yeah, I believe so.
Left from the trails room is either the L7, the one up, or a hook room, a paperclip.
So now RoseCitySaint has to go back through this paperclip room and down to the ferry room, and there he will have more choices. And there's that trails room to the left also.
And he gets presented with another drop, so it'd be interesting to see what happens here. It just takes him to the L7 drop room, and Light just happens to take. Oh my goodness! Oh man, dude, if Lightning takes the if Lightning beats Thunderbird and takes the Eon drop, he's in the lead. He's about to enter the Thunderbird fight right now, I believe. Yeah, so they went through 2 waffle rooms, 2 paperclip rooms, a fun room. This is a big moment for Light. If he takes faith in the Eon drop, like if he beats Thunderbird before RoseCitySaint makes it there, RoseCitySaint has quite a hike ahead of him. If he just decides to bet on Eon, which would be the right play right now, it would put him in the lead, probably.
Yeah, there's also trails to the left that could lead to the L7, the bottom of the L7.
Yeah, there's that as well. And look at this Attack 4 Thunderbird fight by Light. That's so impressive. But I mean, with 7 magic containers or heart containers. Ooh, he got caught up in the corner. If Thunderbird happens to drop the fire on you like that in the corner, a lot of times you'll take several hits. So that's why people like to cast the Reflect spell while fighting Thunderbird, because it helps you block the fireballs, and it actually shrinks your hitbox So sometimes the fireballs will pass even through you. This is not something that you'll see at all ever in the standard tournament, because generally people easily have attack 5 at this point, but White skipped a bunch of levels and they're literally neck and neck right now.
Yeah, RoseCitySaint just catches up, and that shows that sometimes burning gems is not that good of an idea.
Well, I mean, it costs, you know, it saved him a couple seconds.
Yeah, but that Thunderbird fight was pretty long, so
if he takes this Eon drop, oh, he's not. Maybe if he pokes his head. Right, this is probably GG right here. No, it loops back into the Trails room. Wow. What a crazy turn of events here.
So there's an elevator after Eon, and
it's left at Ferry, isn't it? Isn't it left at Ferry? I don't know. At this
that's
point,
correct. Yeah. I mapped the palace wrong. So yeah, it's left at 30.
Yeah. RoseCitySaint knows this information. He's gonna go ahead and do it, and unfortunately, Light's gonna do a lot of exploration before he ends up making it to this point. So the fact that RoseCitySaint had such a massive lead, really just, you know, there's nothing really stopping him at this point, and this is gonna fall right into a room. It's gonna take him straight to Dark Link, most definitely.
Yeah.
And get your GGs out in chat, ladies and gentlemen. RoseCitySaint enters the Dark Link fight at about 1 hour and 25 minutes. And GG, RoseCitySaint finishes one. There it is, with a race time of 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 46 seconds. He's throwing his hands up in the webcam. He's excited. He's happy. He got first place. I think he's coming in for an interview.
Yeah, he definitely will.
That was a great race to call, man. I'm glad I stepped in last minute. I kind of low-key wanted to call it all day anyway, but Light's gonna take that drop, which is gonna be bad news.
Yeah, we've gotten another GP where dropping is a bad idea. Like last night's. Those don't happen that often. So yeah, Lightning just forfeits the race. And yeah, that was perfect score for RoseCitySaint, and yeah, Lightning surprised us.
Rose will be in shortly for an interview. Lightning is unable to join us.
That's cool.
So, two of you, your thoughts on the seed in the meantime? As we're joined by RoseCitySaint.
Oh, yeah, we're joined by RoseCitySaint. GG, RoseCity. It was quite a race to call.
Thank you. Was it close? Light was right on me?
You had a pretty significant lead entering Great Palace, about 4.5 minutes.
Wow.
Honestly, the Lightning was in a bit of a lead. He was 2 gems ahead of you. You were placing your second gem around the 50-minute mark, and I was like, wow. I was like, Rose City Saints got to be pretty like, because usually we have our gems placed around like the 30-minute mark, about two gems around the 30-minute mark. But when the seed is a slow chugging seed and it's like, difficult to place gems, you get very late. And you don't, you know what I mean? It never feels good to have 2 gems placed around that mark. And I was like,
Yeah,
man,
that's not something I personally worry about. I mean, I'm that kind of guy. I like to do the mapping first and check out the overworld and sort of develop a game plan first, and I let the gems come later. I'm more concerned with taking what the overworld will give me and seeing what spells are given and what spells I'm going to need to dig for. And that's where this race got interesting, because I thought for sure I was behind heading into GP, because I made that play to go into 4 for the kid, and that was not reflect. Death Mountain was the right play, so I really felt behind the 8 ball there.
well, he was actually did the exact same thing as you. I think your slow, steady race strategy like worked off better at this point in time, because like in this race, because like at the 14-minute mark, he like full cleared the east almost. Like he found the water tile, the desert tile. He got both items off of Maze Island and one of the Peabag caves. And it was only like maybe 16 minutes in the seed, and you were in Death Mountain, and I'm like, wow. And then when you found that heart container in Hammer Cave, I was like, oh man, this isn't good. Light's kind of running away with it, but he was going so fast that I don't know. He made a few I don't know. He made some questionable plays. He ended up dying. Came over to Barba, and he took a couple deaths to Guma. But he was going really fast, and he forgot a few things like where the town of Gerunia was for a minute. And
Ooh, yeah. Losing something is really a problem. If you've seen something and you can't relocate it, that's about the worst feeling in the world.
it was pretty incredible, because you're slow and steady like actually ended up winning the race, because you knew right where the rock was. You had a really good idea about where everything was, and he was ahead, but ended up making a few mistakes, and you ended up pulling ahead significantly. He was, it's kind of difficult to put a minute mark or how far someone is ahead minute wise. But we tracked your times entering GP, and I think it was about 4.5 minutes you were ahead. But the whole race, he was about 2 gems ahead, and he did an attack 4 Thunderbird fight. he was
attack 4.
yeah, he was eating gems, and I mean he played really well, but at some points he played kind of aggressive. He got bopped a couple of times in the lava by Barba. Guma gave him a run for the money a couple of times, but I mean, like, all in all, man, he like really murdered this seed. But the forgetting stuff, and I mean, he played really well, but you played better, I guess, through experience. And
So what would you say his one holdup was? Was it an item or a spell?
Well, it was the reflect spell was both holding you guys up, but I don't know.
The big thing was the game over to Barba, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. It cost him at least 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, P6 really sucked, so any game overs to Barba would have been really disheartening.
Yeah, but the other thing is, like, with you having already been in Death Mountain before, you had seen the rock, so when you went in there, you were in there for like 30 seconds. You took one cave, knew exactly where it was, because you had already been there before. It took him a couple minutes, and then he did the whole Hammer Cave thing, so that's like rip another minute and a half. It's about 45 seconds each way in Hammer Cave.
Yeah, I kind of fell into the pitfalls early. I found the Hammer Cave with the heart early, and I actually, if you say I saw the rock, I actually don't remember seeing the rock. I just remember not having access to the rock. So I knew whichever Death Mountain entrance I found, just start diving in and try to find a connector. And I was lucky. I think it took me 2 tries.
Yeah, you were in there pretty quickly. There were some indications, or chat said that they had seen the rock, and they were like, oh, he's just needs one cave or whatever. And it didn't take too long. I mean, it didn't take him too long either. But you guys did about the same thing. It's just, I feel like the game overs and the routing. It seemed like his routing was pretty good. However, he had messed up on like where the town of Dorinia was, which only cost him a couple minutes. But it was just, it's really weird and difficult to try to explain like what happened, because it seemed like he had like a really, really big lead, and then all of a sudden you're ahead by 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, if you watch my races, you really have to take my gem count with a grain of salt, because I'm literally that kind of guy where I can go like the first hour and 5 with no gems and still sub 90. I that's just my style. I am not in a huge hurry to place those gems. I consider the overworld information more valuable.
Yeah, I said that during the seed. I said, while I was saying that, around the 50-minute mark, only having placing 2 gems, I said, well, RoseCitySaint is a quick finisher. When it's time to place those gems, he does it in
I couldn't help myself. My apologies.
What did you say?
I just said giggity when you mentioned quick finisher.
Oh, yeah.
That was
They allow that stuff on this channel.
Yeah, that's cool. So the early part of this race for me, I had to do a little more back and forth than I wanted. Like when you first arrived east, the first thing I did was get the jump spell, and that made me want to go back for down stab right away. And then when I found Maze Island, you get the hammer, and I kind of felt compelled to go back right away again. And that led to the glove, so I don't really regret that. But it was just a little too much back and forth to feel really comfortable. And then reflect was a problem too.
That's another thing too. He didn't know the third palace on the western continent, and after getting the hammer and finding Maze Island and doing all that, he up and A'd and went to and got the glove really quickly, and then he ended up doing Palace 2 and Palace 5 like really quickly. Palace 5 took him a minute. He stumbled upon the item, which happened to be a magic container. But yeah, he took a couple game overs to Guma, which wasn't good. It seemed like that you might have found the boss quicker.
Yeah, but, I had a pretty good 5. And speaking of magic containers too, I was really worried that flute was going to be behind the 7 containers because I only had 5. I was so relieved to see that was in the World Boner.
Oh yeah, he's either going to be there or somewhere like deep in Palace 6 or something like that. I mean, that thing could be anywhere.
I got a hint that it was east, so I had a good idea. I was sweating bullets when I saw 7 containers.
Oh yeah, there was a 50-50 shot at that point. If he hadn't found that, then it was either the Risen Peabag Cave or that.
Yeah, I found the Risen Peabag Cave late in the game and just skipped out on it because I knew it couldn't have anything I really wanted.
At the end, we had seen all of the items, including the magical key, because you got that out of 6. So we knew everything was either P-bags, little Dirk Digglers, or heart containers or magic containers.
The only reason I took the item in 6 is because I was kind of hoping for a magic container and trying to prepare myself in case that flute happened to be behind 6 or 7 magic containers. Other than that, it was a waste of time.
Well, it ended up working out because you got the magic key, and Lightning had the death abuse a couple of times. So that's one thing I like about the magical key and having it, and because having the death abuse all the time, especially if you have like 7 magic containers and like life 6, and there's only like a bot, that can take like 40 seconds or something, having to sit there and get hit. There's modes that drop fire are really nice to death abuse off of, because that fire generally takes about 1 heart container from you. But
yeah, well, I look for a MOA for sure if I'm trying to death abuse. They were in a hurry.
Either that or a blue knuckle. Those guys will turn you quick. But hey, Victor, I'm gonna let you close this one out, man, because I gotta get ready for work. I gotta be at work in a couple of minutes, and I'm not even ready yet. But it was a pleasure to call your race. Unfortunately, Victor had the times a little mixed up, so I opened it up for you guys. But hey, have a good night, and GG.
Thanks, we appreciate that, Trails. Good talking to you.
Yeah, good talking to you too, man, and can't wait to see you guys in the brackets. Can't wait to see what the brackets are going to be about. Really excited about those.
Speaking of that, looking forward a bit. 5-0, undefeated through Swiss. GG Rose. Looking forward to that top seed.
I am. I happen to be lucky enough to go 4-0 in last year's Swiss, and that put me in good position to have a successful bracket run. And I hope that my 5-0 here does the same thing. I hope it puts me on a smooth path toward where I'm going.
Yeah, you'll get me.
Lightning.
To be honest, Victor, I'm not so sure that would be the reward that I want. You know what I mean? You're better than you give yourself credit for, and definitely more experienced. I mean, if you're looking for an easy time advancing, I'd rather face someone with less experience than you have.
Yeah, I definitely gotten better in this tournament. My times have been really better than before. So I don't know if it is luck from the seats I've gotten, but yeah, I think I got him better. So yeah, watch yourself. Tread lightly.
Real talk. I mean, win or lose, Victor, you really win if you're playing on a keyboard or Guitar Hero guitar. No, there'd be no one in the world rooting for me. I'm pretty confident of that. Not my loved ones. No one.
I don't know if you saw the races the last couple nights. He's put up a keyboard cam now, so we can see him playing as he plays the game.
I have seen some of that. Yeah, it's remarkable. It's always a really fun spectacle.
Well, with that, I think we'll go ahead and start wrapping up here. Big thank you to our two commentators tonight, Trails and Victor Santa Fe. GG Rose, looking forward to the bracket starting next week. Also GG Lightning, probably going to be top 3, top 4 seed with that 4-1 finish. Thank you to Jinxie Girl for joining me on tracking tonight. Do have one more match that we hope to get on the air tonight at 1 a.m. Eastern time in about a little under 2 hours. We have Jay Coper versus Paratroopa. Still looking for a couple people for commentary and for tracking for that one. I realize it's a little late for most of us, or early, I guess, depending where you are in the world. But if you'd like to hop in and help us out on that one, please feel free to sign up for that race in the Discord. Assuming we get the commentation for that will be about an hour 45 minutes or so. So, until then, we will go ahead and sign off from here. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a good night, all.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a good one.